Today on The Occult Detective, we're going to talk about Karl Edward Wagner. I received, In a Lonely Place, a collection of horror stories by Karl Edward Wagner. It has a terrific introduction by the great Ramsey Campbell, who many would call the greatest living horror author today. He was a friend of Wagner's, and he speaks elegantly of the stories in this collection. This is released by Valancourt Books. It had been previously released in the 80s, I think 83, 84. I've read all the stories in this. I'll give you a quick rundown of what this holds. In the Pines, Where the Summer Ends, Styx, The Fourth Seal, More Sinned Against, 220 Swift, The River of Night's Dreaming, Beyond Any Measure. Just terrific stories. Styx in particular really hits hard. The Fourth Seal is one of my favorites. Wagner left us in the mid-90s. It's a real shame. He struggled with alcoholism, and he passed away from heart and liver failure. I think he was only 48 years old. Far too young. He had a lot left to do, but you'll notice in his later writings, some of that spark had left, and I think he struggled with demons. I don't know if you're familiar, if you read his Kane stories or any of his horror. You could always see there was an underlying element of a man struggling against some kind of inner turmoil. And it just really came through in his writing, and I think it was part and parcel of how Wagner ticked. He was a psychiatrist, and he turned his back on the medical profession, which could have led to his death as well. He just didn't trust people in that profession because he knew it so well. But a magnificent author, but more than that, he was a student of the classic pulps. He was friends with mainly Wade Wellman. He was a champion of C.L. Moore and, of course, Robert E. Howard, which the 3-volume set that he edited were really my introduction to Howard, the real Howard, as opposed to Elsprig de Camp's version of Howard's writing. So Wagner, his prose was phenomenal, but his scholarship was equally so, and he was just so well respected and loved, and I cannot recommend this collection from Valancourt highly enough. This is gorgeous. They really did a fine job with it. I'm really looking forward to revisiting these stories, and you should visit their website. I'll post a link below. Pick one of these up for yourself. They have it in trade paperback and hardcover. I'm thrilled that they sent me the hardcover on this. So as I said, it's gorgeous, and I look forward to posting a full review in the near future. And I'm just thrilled to revisit Wagner's work. I reread his Kane stories a few years ago, and they really held up, at least the early ones. Before I think the disillusionment, kind of settled in. And I think that's why he ticked so well in the early part of his writing career and why he's so beloved. And hopefully there'll be a renaissance of appreciation for his work. That's all I got time for today, and I've got words of my own to get to. I appreciate you stopping by, and as always, happy reading. All right, just a quick addendum to what I had said earlier as we look at the beautiful cover art of In a Lonely Place from Valancourt. I discovered Karl Edward Wagner principally because of one man, and that man was Frank Frazetta, of course. Now, there you see an image called Dark Crusade, which graced one of the Kane covers. Just look at that. You want to read that book, don't you? Well, I certainly did. And Frazetta, he did several covers for Wagner, and I bought them all based on the cover art alone. And the prose inside lived up to the paintings that Frazetta delivered. Interesting. I mean, it's the same way I discovered Robert E. Howard, Lynn Carter, so many others. So I just thought I should add this bit because Frank Frazetta deserves so much credit. That's all I have for you. Thanks for bearing with me. And remember, keep on reading.